Welcome into Ravens Rundown. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Plans starting at just $15 a month. We'll tell you more about what they do coming up later on in the show. We have the latest Baltimore Ravens news and rumors fresh off the grill for the flock. Today, we have a big question for you before we get to the news and rumors. I want to know, who is the better tight end? If you had to pick, Ravens fans, the OG Todd Heap, or is it the current guy, Mark Andrews? So, very good question. I figure we're probably going to have this question for a while between these two. If it's Todd Heap, type Heap. If it is Mark Andrews, type MA. Let me know. I'm very curious how you guys think about that one. Today, we begin with Orlando Brown, the offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Started out his career with the Baltimore Ravens and was traded last offseason after a dispute where Brown wanted to play left tackle for the Ravens, and the Ravens already had a left tackle in Ronnie Stanley. You all know the story. And since then, Orlando Brown made his way to the Chiefs this past season, and the Chiefs knew that they were going to have to pay Orlando Brown, that he only had, this past year remaining on his contract. And so then when it came negotiation time, Brown and the Chiefs didn't get a deal done. No long-term contract for Orlando Brown in the Kansas City Chiefs. So now the question becomes, did the Ravens win that trade that happened last year before the draft? To recap, this is what went down. The Ravens ended up with a 2021 first, third, and fourth round picks, as well as a fifth round pick. And to give you an idea of the players they got in those picks, that included edge rusher Odafe Oweh, as well as offensive guard Ben Cleveland for a couple of those picks. Meanwhile, the Chiefs got Orlando Brown, a 2021 second round pick, and a 2022 sixth round pick. And what's really interesting is the rumblings around One Arrowhead Drive in Kansas City is that the Chiefs are saying that they did not get what they paid for in Orlando Brown, that they are not happy with Orlando Brown of all that they gave up. So if you're the Ravens, you have to be feeling good about how that trade went, right? I mean, if you had to grade how that trade went down for the Ravens a year later, what grade would you give it? Would you give it an A, B, C, D, or F? I'm curious what you guys think in the comment section below, how you would grade how that trade went down for the Ravens. This is our pinned comment today. You're about to get an ad break. Take advantage of it. While the ad's playing, get your votes in. Let me know one way or the other, A, B, C, D, or F, how you would grade the Orlando Brown trade a year later. So the Ravens, one of the things that they were able to bring in that trade, as we mentioned, was Odafe Oweh. And Odafe Oweh last year as a rookie was solid. 33 tackles, 5 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 fumble recoveries. I expect Odafe Oweh to be really good again this year in his second season in the NFL. Then there's Ben Cleveland. Ben Cleveland competing for one of the starting spots on the offensive line. We saw him in 8 games last year, and he didn't give up any sacks. So with that said, when you look back on that trade, the Ravens don't need any more contract disputes on this team, right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. And so you see what the Chiefs are struggling with of, they offered to make Orlando Brown one of the highest paid tackles in the league, and he still said no. I mean, everyone at this point is shaking their heads why Orlando Brown would say no to the type of deal that the Chiefs offered him. I got to tell you, I mean, it sounds like that Orlando Brown's a bit of a head case here. I mean, sure, the Ravens wouldn't mind having some offensive tackle depth right now, especially when you mention Ronnie Stanley of, we don't know if he's going to be ready to go week 1. And then the talk of Juwan James potentially filling in for him at that left tackle spot when the season begins. Sure, I mean, I'm not saying that the Ravens are in a perfect situation at this offensive line. Far from it. I do love them having Tyler Linderbaum. To me, he was one of the steals of this draft. But, I mean, when it comes to Orlando Brown with what the Chiefs are going through right now, good riddance, right? I mean, if you're a Ravens fan, I think you have to be sitting back with relief of sorts that you're not having to go through what Kansas City's going through of these just awful contract negotiations of where things stand right now. Now, maybe you are somebody that liked Orlando Brown, and again, nothing personal with Orlando Brown here. Maybe you're one of those. Do you wish he was still on this Baltimore Ravens team? Let me know in the comments section. Type Y for yes, type in for no if you wish Orlando Brown was still in Baltimore at this time. Today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile, and they have a huge 5G network, folks. And get this, they're offering unlimited talk and text, mobile hotspots, plans starting at just $15 a month. Did you know that Ryan Reynolds actually owns Mint Mobile? I like Ryan Reynolds, very good actor. Even your mom might ask you to stop calling so much with this type of deal that Mint Mobile is offering. Unlimited premium wireless now, just $15 a month. And you can get yours now at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Start saving money, especially in this economy, folks. We need to save every penny we can just to afford gas these days. Might as well save on your cell phone plan while you're at it. mintmobile.com/chatsports. Plan starting at $15 a month. Julio Jones still remains a free agent at this point in time. And according to the folks at Bleacher Report, he has been linked to the Baltimore Ravens, should the Ravens make a move. Now, on this channel, we've talked for a while about the idea of the Ravens potentially adding another receiver. Rashod Bateman's your number one guy, but then beyond that, it's anyone's guess. It's an open competition for the next starting spots at that wide receiver position. We'll have more on Julio Jones and tell you my thoughts on this situation, get just some quotes from what Bleacher Report had to say in one moment. But before we do, I want to make sure that you are subscribed to The Rundown as we're covering the Baltimore Ravens each and every day with the hottest news, rumors, trades, free agency, and more. We're counting you down to kickoff as the Ravens get the season going in just, about a month and a half now? I mean, it'll be here before we know it. Training camp around the corner, too. We're going to cover this team all over it, folks. So make sure you're subscribed now before the season begins. YouTube.com/RavensTV. Join the Nota Gang, too. Turn on your notifications so you never miss a moment. Here is what Bleacher Report had to say about Julio Jones. Trading away Marquise Brown made sense on draft night, given the return of a first-round pick, but it also leaves them thin on experience in the receiver room. Rashod Bateman is going to be expected to rise to the role of wide receiver one. That should be the case after the team used a first-rounder on him last season. However, the depth chart gets pretty dicey after that. Devin Duvernay, James Proche II, and Tylan Wallace all have done varying degrees of part-time work within the offense. What the group needs is a veteran who understands how to succeed in the NFL. Julio Jones isn't the all-pro player he once was, but he still fits that bill. You look at the last 4 seasons for Julio Jones, as you can see, a significant drop-off the last 2 seasons. 2020, 51 receptions, 771 yards, 3 touchdowns. Last year, just 31 catches, 434 yards, and 1 touchdown. I get that. The numbers aren't what they once were for Julio Jones, but the way I look at it is this. There is no risk involved in adding Julio Jones, okay? There just simply isn't a risk here because your wide receiver room, it is what it is right now. And you bring Julio in, either he's going to add to this team or he's not, and the other guys step up. If anything, he intensifies the competition, makes these guys work a little extra harder to know that they're going to be fighting for playing time. There is no risk. If he's hurt, so be it. Then you're back to what you had before to begin with. So I like the idea. He is a good stopgap solution. At this point, nobody's asking Julio Jones to sign a 5-year contract of sorts. To me, I like the idea of adding Julio Jones for this year to add depth and get another big body involved in that offense. To me, it's a win-win if you add Julio Jones. Now, his Madden rating, I believe at this time last year, he was rated about a 95 on Madden. I think that's dropped a bit. How would you rate Julio Jones on the Madden video game. If you had to scale it right now, I'm very curious, Ravens fans. How would you rate Julio Jones? Let me know. Type 1 through 100. Put a number on it in the comments, and we will see you next time here on the Ravens Rundown.